Hello, I'm Emily Daniel, and I will be talking about how teachers should be allowed to carry a gun during school. School shootings are becoming more popular ever since the Columbine shooting in 1999. There have been many shootings, but nobody knows exactly how many there have been since 1999 due to the fact of not being reported. But in the article, A Rapid Increase in School Shootings in 2013, it reports there have been 8 shootings just alone in January of 2013. As you can see on this graph, school shootings since 1980 to 2010 have increased in victims. And as you can see on this graph, the number of fatalities and injuries have begun to increase in 2012. To me, that seems like it's way more than it should be. With all these shootings happening, there needs to be a way for teachers to protect themselves and their students. Giving a teacher a gun to most people will think it's crazy and very unsafe, but it doesn't have to be seen that way. Some schools already have an officer with a gun, so what's the difference in giving a gun to a teacher that's been trained? Teachers can be trained in how to use the gun. That way, it can help stop these shooters from coming into schools. Now, I'm not saying that every teacher should carry a gun. It would be completely voluntary. Teachers then would need to get their conceal and carry permit. In Chapter 571 of the Missouri Revised Statuses, it mentions that to receive this permit, you have to have certain qualifications, some that a teacher should already have. Things like being a citizen, that you have not been convicted of any crime, that you are not a fugitive, and other qualifications. My mother is a teacher, so I feel very strongly about this topic. Knowing that she could protect herself and her students would be comforting for anybody. Any teacher is willing to protect their students in any way. When an intruder enters a school, teachers are trained to lock their doors and hide themselves and their students. They are also now being trained to tie ropes on their doors to help barricade the door from the intruder entering. My mother, who is a preschool teacher, just went through this intruder training and was taught to tie her door, like I said before, so that if the intruder wanted to come in, it would be a struggle for them to enter. She was also taught this motto: get out, lock out, take out. This means her first step is to immediately look for a way out of her classroom. After she has figured out there is not a way to safely get out, she locks and ties her door, shuts the windows and blinds, and moves her kids to the opposite corner out of sight. But if this doesn't work either, the takeout stage happens. And this is just where she throws anything in sight to try and take the shooter out. But that doesn't always stop a shooter from coming in and causing harm. A locked door will not always stop an active shooter. Students and teachers are like sitting ducks just sitting there waiting. Instructors are now teaching teachers to teach their students to throw books and any other visible supplies at the shooter if they were to enter the classroom. Having a student attack an active shooter just doesn't seem like a very good idea to me. I believe a shooter would think twice before entering a school if they knew teachers had a gun to defend themselves and their students. Taking this from a shooter's point of view, entering a school that has guns would not be an easy job for them. Now, there's always the question of, what if students get a hold of the gun? That is why the teacher would have the gun strapped to themselves at all times. My mother mentions that if she was to have a gun, she would feel safer. She would then safely strap the gun to her ankle out of sight. Also, we live every day full of what ifs, but teachers can be trained to use this gun and to properly store it, just like how they are trained to do other things, like what to do during an emergency. Parents want to know that their children are safe when they are at school, that they are willing to protect. So yes, I believe giving a teacher a gun with the proper training and knowledge is the way to go.